couple of months ago when we were planning out the training sessions, we gave thought to doing this, and if you think about it, those of you that were at Phoenix Phoenix Christian 2 or 3 weeks ago, we had an on-court situation where we talked about positioning and mechanics, all right? A week ago, we talked a little bit about fundamentals and a little bit about philosophy. And tonight, we're going to talk about rules, and not so much rules that we're going to split hairs. All right? I tried to design this for the rules that come into play nearly every single night that we work, or afternoon. So I started a week ago by reading a portion of something I took off a training internet site where it talked about the 3 different types of, and I'm not going to read the whole thing like I did the other night, but the 3 different types of officials. All right, you've got the rule book attorneys, you've got the freelancers, and you got the combination officials. So we said that the rule book attorneys and the freelancers are opposite ends of the spectrum, and neither one of them is really a good situation. And the third one was the combination officials. They take the best of both worlds. And that's what we're trying to get across tonight, where you could have played the game and really understand the game and be a decent official and get through it. But sooner or later, the rules are going to get you, okay? And we've got to do a better job in this state of understanding the rules. Portions of what I'm going to give you tonight, when I was in Connecticut, were spread out over 10 2-hour sessions. So we're going to try to get this done in 1 hour and 45. If it takes us till 8 o'clock and you're still awake, all right, so be it. But the rules are incredibly difficult, okay? Football rules are more difficult. Basketball officiating is more difficult. I didn't say football was easy, right? I said the rules are more difficult in football. The rules in basketball are easier than football, but they're still difficult. And I got to understand that we're not going to talk about the manual at all tonight. We got 3 books. The manual tells us what we're supposed to do, where we're supposed to be. And you got 2 left. Okay, this is nothing new to you, but I want to remind you that the casebook is extremely valuable. And the casebook numbering system is exactly the same as the rule book. So and you're going to hear some stuff tonight that you're probably not going to totally understand. Okay? And what you need to do in the ensuing days is go to the rule book and see if you can find it and figure it out. If you find it and you're still cloudy in your mind, then take that same numbering and go to the casebook. And the casebook's going to give you some plays, which is going to make it more understandable. As an example, how many, with a show of hands, if I gave you the rule 210, Rule 2, Section 10, how many people in here would know what that rule is? 1? Somebody have to okay. All right, it's not important that you know that 210 is the correctable error rule. Okay? But what is important is how to handle a correctable error situation. And that one topic would take me 20 to 30 minutes, which we're not going to do tonight. I'm going to go over it a little bit and leave it to you to go back and research it. But the casebook plays, I'm going to guess for 210, there are at least 15 to 20 plays just on Rule 210 correctable error. Okay? So keep in mind that you need to be going back and forth between the rule book and the casebook. Okay? So if you're confused tonight, that's okay, because the guy and gal sitting next to you on both sides at some point tonight are also going to be confused. All right? So that's going to send you home for some research. Okay, we talked about that. Okay, if we get to quarter to 8, 10 of 8, 5 of 8, and I have not gone over the differences between high school and college basketball, okay, remind me. Okay? Because I can go through those pretty quick. I don't want to get bogged down on those, so we'll leave those to the end. But it's very important because those plays happen every single night in our game, and we watch TV, and we're going to watch 2 or 3 weeks of TV basketball before we work ourselves, and we innately start putting the college rules in. Okay? So we talk about rules. Now you got to know that this is 28.5 inches in circumference, but the girls' ball is an inch shorter than that and smaller than that. No, you don't. You don't have to know that at all. Okay? They're going to give you a basketball that's a legit basketball. You're going to know what it is. Okay? All you need to know is when you drop the ball before the game, hopefully at the 10-minute mark after you check the book, or after you check with you had your 8 minutes with the captains, the 8-minute mark, you're going to make sure you get the game ball. Don't wait till 2 minutes. Okay, because if the ball they give you doesn't have enough air in it, or it's got too much air, then you got a problem. All you need to know is that ball's got to be dropped from 6 feet. So if I'm 5'9", I know I got to drop it from 3 inches above my head. And I know that right here is between 49 to 54 inches. That's on me. So you got to find that on yourself. You got to get a tape measure and figure out where 49 to 54 inches is. So that when you drop this ball on the surface you're playing on, it's going to rebound up there. Now, chances are this ball's got a little bit too much air for a basketball court because we got a rug here. So it's probably going to rebound higher. All right? So 6 feet to 49 to 54 inches. If this was the surface we were playing on, this ball would be perfect. Okay? So that's the part of the rule you need to know. You don't need to know the circumference or the pounds per square inch. Okay? The court. Is it important for you to know that a high school court is 84 feet and a college court is 94 feet? And it's 50 feet wide? No, not, because we're going to play on the court that you're at now. What you need to know, okay, is that the division line is part of the backcourt. Okay, so when we're talking about bringing the ball across the court, okay, and the kid is touching the line only, is he or she in the back court or the front court? That's important. Okay, you got to remember that many courts have 2-inch lines, as you would see based on this diagram here. But also, the other half of the courts don't have a 2-inch line. They've got a 2-foot line. It's not a line, 2-foot area. I think everybody knows what I'm talking about, okay? The reason I point that out is, if you got that 2-foot area, and the kid's taking the ball out of bounds, as long as they're on the blue or the red or whatever color it is, and they make a pass in bounds, okay, that's a legal throw-in, okay? But I wish I had a quarter for every one of our officials who had a play where the inbounds passer steps forward, steps on the line, but not over the line, not beyond the line, and we react as an official because he stepped on the line, and we blow a violation, all right? And that's a legal play because that line is out of bounds. A small thing, but it happens, okay? So what do we have to know about the court? You know, do we have to know exactly how far it is from the baseline to there? No. We're going to use that court. It's probably lined properly. But we do have to know so that if they don't have a hash mark for our coach's box, we have to know that it's 1 stride. The hash mark is 1 stride beyond the top of the circle. So if they don't have it and you're putting it down, somebody asks you, just go out there, take 1 step, 3 feet, because this is 25 feet. You don't need to know that's 25 feet. I need to because somebody's going to ask me. But if you add it up, you got 6 feet, okay, you got 15 feet, and you got 4 feet. Comes up to 25. So that's why, the only reason we need to know that. Okay, 28 feet is where the hash mark should be, and then this line, if it's on the courts now, is of no consequence at all. Doesn't mean a thing. Okay? Those of you that have been refereeing 100 years like me will remember there used to be a circle there. Okay, it's no longer necessary. They took it out. Used to be continuation and semicircle. No longer there. You don't need it. We used to have jump balls there. That's why it was there. Okay? You need to know that the jumpers, okay, the jump ball, okay, you look in the book, it'll take you about 20 to 30 minutes to read it and get it down. Jump ball is very confusing, okay, if you choose to have it become confusing. But we only do it once, okay, so let's not screw it up. all right? Jumper has to have both feet in his or her half of the circle, okay? It can be way over here, it doesn't matter. It can be this way, it doesn't matter, okay? The 8 non-jumpers, okay, can be anywhere, okay, on a court until we get within 3 feet around here, just like the 3 feet here, okay? If this is my opponent's legs, all right, and the jumper is there, and I come up with my foot in back of them, that's illegal. You as an official, before you toss it, got to move that kid's feet, okay? But that's only in the 3 feet area around here. I wish I had $1 for every official I saw who sees 2 kids out here, and one slightly in front of the other, and they move this kid's foot. Not part of the rule. We're only talking about spots around here, okay? So, there's a time called, okay, the official is about to make the toss. And that's basically, guys all set, and then you go in and right there. It's like 1 second, a second and a half, okay? And then you make the toss, okay? Now, what can those players do, okay, once you make the toss? Okay, they can basically do anything except step inside the circle, okay? They can move around the circle, they just can't move into another person's space, behind them or in front of them, right? I could spend another 10 minutes on just a jump, not going to. We make one of them. Take a look at that in the rule book, make sure you understand what the kids can do on the jump. Now, what is it that you have to do, rule-wise? Okay, you have to throw it higher than either kid can jump, okay? So why do we males get in between the 2 girls and we do that? I'm exaggerating to make a point, but not much. I'm guessing she could jump higher than that, okay? Better too high than too low. Girls game, boys game, get the ball in the air. It's an athletic move. Extend your arms, get it high enough, and if you make a bad toss, with your whistle here, make sure, okay, blow it back, and hopefully your partner has already done it, he doesn't do it. If you make a bad toss, meaning you don't throw it high enough, or it goes crooked, okay, blow it back, okay? But better yet, practice it so that we look good when we start. How bad is it? How bad is it? We haven't even got the clock started yet, and we made a poor toss, and we got to make a second toss. All right, now, what constitutes a legal tap? Okay, how many times can a jumper tap the ball? He can tap it twice, or she can tap it twice. Okay, can that player tap it with 2 hands? Yes. Can he tap it with 2 hands twice? Yes. Okay, so it could be 1 hand, the other hand, could be 1 hand, then 2. Once he or she's tapped it twice, the next time they tap it, it's a violation. Okay. In addition, we got to remember that that jumper cannot catch the ball, okay, until it does one of 2 things. Got to touch a non-jumper or the floor, or the floor. Okay, so if we get it touched legally, and then it hits the floor, and it bounces right back up to the kid, that's legal to grab the ball. Okay? And 10 out of 10 guys or gals call that a violation or a re-jump. Okay? So we've got to toss it high enough, we've got to toss it straight, okay? They've got to tap it after it's reached its highest point. So if we've made a good toss, and a kid beats the toss and taps it on the way up, umpire in that game have the guts to blow the whistle and call it a violation. Okay, that's if your partner made a good toss. In other words, it was going to get high enough, but the kid didn't allow that to happen. Okay? Now, if the ball is tipped out of bounds by the jumpers, goes out of bounds, okay, and it's clearly off one team, we're obviously going to give the ball to the other team. Okay? And we're going to get to live ball and dead ball in a minute. And we'll go into a little bit more detail on that. But if the ball goes off two people, okay, and we haven't had a possession yet, we're going to have a re-jump. Okay? And in high school basketball, we're going to have a re-jump between those last two people that had that ball go off them together, which is different from college. Okay? And we're going to re-jump, obviously, in the center circle. We only got one circle now. We used to jump, if the opening tap 20 years ago, 30 years ago, went out of bounds here, we would have done it back here. But we're going to re-jump with the two people that touch the ball. Now, sometimes it's the jumpers. If that's the case, they're going to re-jump. Okay? So, when does the ball become alive on a jump ball? Somebody raise their hand and take it back.
When the ref tosses it.
The ball becomes alive when the referee releases the ball is correct. Now, somebody over on this side of the room said no. Okay? So that brings up my point of clock starting and live ball, not the same thing. Not necessarily the same thing. Because, rule book wise, if we've got a kid tips it on the way up, that's a violation, so it's not a legal tap, which means the clock shouldn't have started. So what we're going to do is put it back to 8 minutes, okay, give it to the other team on a throw-in, and when do we set the arrow?
After possession.
No, we set the arrow initially. The initial setting of the arrow, in that unusual situation where we had a violation on the jump ball, and we're going to give it to the team that's inbound, the other team that didn't violate, when we hand the ball or bounce pass the ball to the kid, it's at his disposal, that's when we set the arrow. For the initial setting of the arrow. Okay? Because if we don't have an arrow, okay, and he commits a throwing violation, now we're all screwed up. We got to get an arrow. Okay? So initially, it's when we get the first possession. Okay? That's when we set the arrow. We'll talk about throw-ins, and most of the people have said when the ball is legally touched on the court, they'll be correct on the switching of the arrow. Okay? Okay, so we talked about a jump ball. We've been talking for 15 minutes, and we're 1 second into the game. Okay, and I gave you about 17 things that we screw up. And when I say we, that's a generalized statement for officials in Arizona and across the country. You can't do anything I haven't seen. Okay? I've seen people throw the ball 20 feet in the air, and I've seen the ball thrown 20 inches in. Okay? And just one mechanic, I know this is rules, but mechanically, tossing the ball, what we do, the reason we make bad tosses many times is we step in and we try to get out of the way of the two jumpers, and we toss like this, and we rock back on the back foot, and that's why the ball goes over our head slightly, and it always gives the kid on our left, who is usually right-handed, the advantage, because all he has to do is reach here, whereas the right-handed kid on the other side is trying to reach over here. Okay? So, jump ball. Give some thought, spend some time in the rule book on that. Talked about